Hello, everyone. Welcome to a new episode of Don't Wait Till Monday podcast. I'm your host, Kirsten Quigley, and today I have such an exciting episode. Another travel baddie like myself, another content creator. Hi, Mom. I would like to welcome Williana Ashley to the show. So like I just said, she is a travel content creator, but not just that. She does a bunch of different things. She does food reviews, very known for being a Jersey girl, which we'll get into as well as a fellow Jersey girl myself. Um, and yeah, so I've just been following her. We met on TikTok when, travelers follow one another, creators follow one another. And I've been following her along. She's been supporting me, back and forth. And I was like, I got to get her on the show. I got to get her on an episode. So I'm so excited to have her here today and talk through how she's become a creator and what she's doing in this industry now and all of the things that go behind it. So without further ado, Williana, welcome to Don't Wait Till Monday podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. Okay, so just go ahead and get right into it. So the first question I have, or actually before we do any questions, is there anything else, a little more of an introduction you would like to say for the people to know about you?
So alongside travel content, I also do foodie content. That's it really.
Okay. Perfect, perfect. Okay, so like I had mentioned, Williana is from New Jersey. Now, actually, that has nothing to do with what I'm about to say. But anyways, I'm wondering what school did you go to? What degree did you get? And was working in the tourism industry ever in your mind during that time?
Okay, so I got my associates in health sciences at Brookdale Community College. I got my bachelor's degree in dental hygiene at the University of Bridgeport. And your second question was travel always, what did you say?
Yes, so while you were going through school, was working in the tourism industry or travel ever in your mind?
Uh, yes. Yes
Yeah.
and no. Like I knew travel would always be a part of my life. I didn't know how.
Mhm.
And this just happened to be the way, but I always knew like my goal was always to travel at least every 3 months. So
Yeah, that's a great
that's
goal.
really yeah, that's really why I became not why I became a dental hygienist. That's gonna sound really bad, but one of the reasons like I wanted to be able to afford travel, so I knew I needed a good career.
Yeah, and I love that you mentioned that because I feel like so many people are so hesitant with traveling because they're like, well, I have this full-time job and I need to, like save up my money and things, but not that I have a full-time job, but people with it like there's still so many people who make it happen, Like if
Yeah.
if people just followed you for your travel things, they would never know that you also are a dental hygienist. Yes,
Yeah.
like a working full-time woman.
It's so true. It's so true.
Yeah. So I'm kind of back to the dental hygienist in your job again. So yes, I was scrolling all the way through your Instagram before all of this, and it seems like you've grown up a traveler and you've traveled with family and friends, which I love that for you. So tell us a little more about how that has shaped or played a role in your love for travel today.
So growing up, we always used to do at least one family vacation a year. So it's just so funny because that actually makes me think of how like social media has always played a role in my travels. Like if I knew we were going somewhere, I would be watching like YouTube videos every day about where we're going, what to do. I would be like 11,
Yeah.
uh, then when Vine came about, I would be looking at Vines all day of
Mhm.
like people's trips. So I always just look forward to like if I knew we were taking a family vacation, nothing else mattered. I'm just preparing and thinking about our trip. Um, and I do feel like that consistent travel did shape me. It made me kind of addicted to traveling,
For
which I'm gonna
sure.
be real, it's an addiction. Like, yeah, it's great, it's glamorized, but it's addicting. Like sometimes my whole every day how I move is preparing for my upcoming trip.
Right, yeah.
um so yeah, I'm really thankful my parents introduced me to travel young. I do feel like you learn so much while you're traveling. I think it's like a form of education. Like you're learning
100%.
cultures, you're getting to know. It makes you much more open-minded. Like there's not just one way to live, one
Mhm.
form of life, one perspective. Like there's so many different things out there, different kinds of people, different foods, yeah, different religions, different cultures, values. So yeah, that's how it shaped me. So yeah.
Yeah, I love that. That's awesome. And I love to hear that it started from such a young age. And like you said, you were 11 years old looking into videos and already watching things. So yeah, you've had this ingrained in your bones since
Yeah.
before you even knew about it. And Vine too. Like I used to go to Vine and I just laughed my ass off. Like I would have never even thought to like look at travel things and you were already doing that. So that's like
Yeah.
so interesting to me. But yeah, and totally agree with everything you were saying as far as I think it's a huge educational thing, right? Like it's a privilege to travel, but it's so
Mhm.
beautiful when you can do it and just like you said, experience other cultures, different things
Mhm.
outside of your normal, regular day-to-day life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it can be easy to fall into these traps of like when you're traveling, obviously you're vacationing, so you go to like the gorgeous spots and everything, but
Mhm.
of course it's a vacation spot, so it's gonna be like that. So yeah, just to appreciate where you're going and all of that.
Mhm.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, and then going back to when you were younger as well, in 2013, you made a hashtag future dental hygienist post, which, as we can see, came to life. So you've been a manifester from the jump
It's true.
again.
It's true.
And so again, I think you did kind of actually answer this, but I was gonna ask, did you have travel in the back of your mind, or was it, I guess at this point, was it always more of a leisure vacation thing over a career thing? Which I think, yes, you were saying you knew you wanted to travel, but maybe like leaving 3 times a year, you said, or every 3 months?
Every three
Every three
months.
months, yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah, you definitely have always had it in the back of your mind.
Yes.
Okay, my next question is, walk us through your journey of becoming a travel content creator. But specifically, I want to ask, like, when did you realize, like, whoa, I can turn this into something?
Okay. So I so people would always tell me like, oh, you should do content. You should be like an influencer. But I'm like I really like my privacy. I like having my Instagram on private. But when it shifted for me when I went on my Virgin Voyages cruise,
Mhm.
that was like back in 2023, 2023. I went on this cruise, and I swear to you, like 1 in 4 people on that cruise ship were there for content. Like they were traveling with whatever tourism board, and I was finding them on Instagram. I was meeting them, getting to know them, seeing their Instagrams, and they're all doing this hashtag. And that's when I was like, wait, like you mean to tell me I can do the same thing I do because I love getting content on trips. It's not like it's forced, it's organic.
Right.
Um, so you mean to tell me I can record and post and I could be on this trip for free?
Right. Yes,
That's
literally.
when I was like, wait, like game changer. Like I need to make this happen. Like I'm already doing this. I already enjoy doing this. Like
Yeah.
it's like pay $0 versus $2,000. Which would you pick?
Right.
So that's when it changed for me. I did meet a girl from UK on the ship, and we still talk to this day. And she gave me a bunch. She's like a huge TikToker.
Okay.
So she gave me a bunch of tips on how to become a creator, like where to
Mm.
start. And that's when I was like, all right, it's game time. Like, time to get into this.
Yeah, and I feel like you're really locked in from the jump, right? Like you were
Yeah.
like, all right, let's go.
Once I saw it, like I've always knew about it. Like I've watched creators, never met them,
Mhm.
like on YouTube, watching them. So, but once I actually saw it in real life, I'm like, yeah, I need to be doing this. Like,
Yeah.
this is it.
I'm wondering, did you meet on Virgin Voyages? Because I know a creator who works with them all the time. Her name's Christine. L- Her last name is either, so sorry, Christine, Lozado or Lazoda.
No,
Oh
I
my
would have to
gosh.
see her page maybe.
You would love her.
What?
Oh my, you would love her. So, anyways,
Oh,
though, yeah, she does so much work with Virgin Voyages. She
that's
is
cool.
one of the creators that I kind of like you were saying, like it took you to see that in person to really be like, whoa, I can do this. I kind of had that same experience. Like I've always known,
Oh.
I want to say early college, that's when I started watching YouTube. It was Liza Koshy. She was my first person I like started watching. Adam introduced me to her. And I was like, oh my God, one, this bitch is funny as hell. And also like to do this for a living, like I love making people laugh. I love entertaining and things like that.
Yeah.
So just like YouTube as a whole, right? And then with
Hmm.
YouTube comes like the flexibility and the like allowance to travel and all of that. So I was like,
Hmm.
definitely something like that. But I was always, even though I knew in the back of my head, like that's exactly what I wanted to do, I never really truly said it. Honestly, until like this year, I've buckled down and been like, I'm showing up as the travel creator, as like this creator I want to be.
And
Um,
look at you now.
I know, thank you. But back to like your point of seeing it firsthand to really like drill it home for you. I
Yeah.
went on the creator retreat with Mount to San Diego, and that's when I
Yeah.
met other creators. One of them be Christine, and I think
Aw.
she's been on YouTube for like 10 years now, maybe a little more. And that's when I too was like, wow, this is a thing. Like this isn't just a little like funny thing that you tell people like, yeah, I want to be a YouTuber and they're like, oh, okay. Like no, it's a
Right.
legit thing. These are hard workers and I've always believed in that as well. I've always admired YouTubers, creators. There's so
Mm-hmm.
much that goes into it and
So much.
yeah, but once you do see it and you're in it, you're like, okay, I
It's
want
different.
to be a part of this. Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
love that though. I love that we both had similar experiences. I feel like that's what it really takes, like
It
actually
does.
meeting people, like-minded people, and
Yes.
connecting over just like me and you were doing. Like it's nice.
Yeah, and you just get each other, like when I was
Hmm.
with that group in San Diego, it was just so natural, so such a like loving, community. And it's
Yeah.
yeah, it's great once you're a part of it,
You
and
have to
really
tell me more about that, what you do.
I will for sure because
Hmm. Hmm.
you'd be a great addition to the team.
Oh.
And I already told Maddie, the CEO, about you and everything. So anyways, yeah, we'll
Oh,
get more into that. Okay, so now getting more into specific creators. I know you said you've met a few. Do you have any specific creator inspirations?
I have a couple.
Yeah, let's hear about it.
So, okay, I'm into a bunch of different things. I'm into travel. I'm into just like wellness content, family content. So, okay, huh. Am I into so many? Okay, when it comes to travel, I love AK Adventures.
Okay.
They're an African American couple, and they work with big brands. They work with Royal Caribbean, Virgin. I think they work with MSC. When it comes to lifestyle, I love her name is Naz Kavari. She's very inspiring. She's been in the game for like over 10 years. And she's a mom. It's just nice to see, especially when you're an aspiring creator, it's nice to see people able to balance so many things. Like that's just inspiring itself because this is a lot of work. So to see that people are full-time creators, they work side hustles, they raise families, they're homemakers, like all right, anyways, who else? I can't think of anyone else on the top of my head because there's so many. I did get to know a TikToker. Her name is Jasmine. She's inspiring because her husband was the breadwinner in the family. She was a stay-home mom, and then she blew up on TikTok, and now he started staying home and helping her.
Mm-hmm. Isn't that so
And
funny?
I love it.
No,
And
I
my
love that.
fiance says that all the time. He's like, get ready for me to stay home too. I'm like,
No,
that's fine.
honestly, sorry. My dog is
It's
right next to
okay.
me and he just spilled the water. Whatever. Anyways, he always has to make his entrance in
I see it. Even
every
those blurred, I
episode. Yeah,
see them.
his tail. Anyways, that is so funny about your fiance because it's like with Adam too. I used to say like I want him to be like a stay-at-home um husband, fiance, and like let
Yeah,
I love this and if it can take over
right,
for us, like yeah. Um,
right.
but
Honestly,
yeah, just going back to your creator inspirations as well. How you were saying you like different things. I think that's like I said, my first person was Liza Koshy, right? Like she was just
mhm,
entertaining and funny and
mhm,
not really had much
mhm,
to do with travel. And I also went down the family rabbit hole as well. Like I've watched many families. But that's the thing about like creation and just creators. Like it doesn't even have to be the same exact thing to line up and just get inspired by one. I think it's just the work that goes into it, the behind the scenes and everything, the motivation and the
mhm.
like drivenness. I don't think that's the right word, but yeah, all of that
A
that
big
goes into
creator
it.
that I do want to mention that I
Yeah.
absolutely love is Bretman Rock.
Stop.
I'm like, hold on,
Oh
I love
hell,
me some
I
Bretman.
love him. I think he's so authentic. He's so
Hmm.
I do love him as well. And I still play him in Princess's videos all
Yeah,
the time
yeah,
because they're
yeah.
so funny.
So funny. Even that, like creators who make you laugh, just eating and talking,
Yes.
like regular, like stuff.
Yes, you want to feel like you're hanging out with him, and yeah, for
Hmm.
sure. Definitely. Um, okay, so now getting more into you as a creator. Which creator programs are you a part of?
So a good creator program that I was a part of was a Lemonade travel program. And I say was, I'll get into that, but that was a good program because it was newer.
Hmm.
So I got invited into their travel program. And when you're posting consistently, if your posts are getting, I don't know what their ranking is, but the top views and likes,
Yeah.
um, they put your name and you basically won the challenge and they'll send you gift cards.
Oh.
So, and they basically send you a gift card. And once you receive that, you can pick from any numerous amount of gift cards that you want. What I was doing was getting Expedia gift cards.
Oh,
And
that's so smart.
yeah, so I was traveling from winning these challenges. And was because when the whole TikTok ban
Ugh,
happened,
there goes lemonade.
when the whole TikTok ban happened, I lost it. So I just deleted the app thinking it was done. So
Mm.
now I can't get back on it. So I'm currently looking for someone putting this out here. Anyone who
Yes.
has the Lemonade app on their phone. I need someone who can run my account for me. Because yeah, still
Uh,
put content out there, but yeah.
yeah. I never downloaded Lemonade, but I did see that you said like you lost it because of that. And something
Mm-hmm.
that's funny is Adam, my fiance, just got a new phone, and when it restored, he lost TikTok because because it didn't like re-upload, and he's like so distraught because it's a good app. Like not that he's a
Exactly.
creator, but he loved going on there and
Mm-hmm.
watching videos and laughing and found
Mm-hmm.
creators that he loved. So
Yeah, enjoyment. And even like editing on TikTok, I find it to be much easier than a lot of other things. So the fact that, I mean, I deleted TikTok off my phone, but thankfully I have it on my iPad still.
oh wow.
So I'm an iPad talker now,
Uh,
but so I'm just trying to figure that out now, editing on that. So it's just like a whole thing.
yeah.
Messed
Speaking
me
of,
up.
I know I was like distraught because speaking of editing, I use CapCut, which is also owned by
Hmm.
like Byte or whatever it is. And my last episode that I recorded, I was halfway through editing it, and I was like, if CapCut doesn't come back, and I lost this episode, I'm gonna be so upset. It's back now.
Okay, thank
Thank
God.
God. I love CapCut.
Oh
What
my
editing
God.
softwares do you use? Or do you just do in-app editing?
So I was just editing on TikTok. Even
Oh
when I was
wow.
posting on Reels, it was all on
Yeah.
TikTok. I didn't really. So when I was editing on CapCut, they didn't have all the music. I don't know if they do
True. They
now.
don't. They
So
don't.
that's why it was kind of hard for me. I'm like, I like editing to the
To the
song.
music. Yes. Okay.
Um, so yeah, I was just using that. And now I am playing around with CapCut a little bit more.
Mhm.
Instagram sucks to edit on. Like it's
So, so bad. Why are things not lining up? Yes,
they
I
shouldn't
get
even
that.
offer it as an like it sucks.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, I those few days without CapCut, I was editing on TikTok. And yeah, it's actually not that bad.
No,
So,
okay.
yeah, any creators out there that want to get started, just start with editing
Yeah.
on TikTok because look,
Mhm.
look at Williana. She's been doing it and she has great success. Love that. Okay, so going back to the beginning of your journey, what were your initial thoughts when you first started getting into this path, and how have they changed since then?
Oh my gosh. First getting into this, I didn't know what my niche was.
Mhm.
So I've been posting travel content on Instagram. I made my page public eventually, but I wasn't really getting seen. So I'm like, what can I really do to get seen? So I started playing around with so many different things. I remember some Sundays I was going to Target doing like try on hauls. I did start Eat with a Jersey Girl, and that did do
I love
good.
that. I cannot wait to talk about that. But
Yeah.
yes.
When I was traveling, I noticed every time in my journey I would go on a trip and start posting a bunch of content, like that would do so well. So I was like, I have to continue with the travel content, but I wasn't traveling 24/7. So I'm like,
Right.
what do I do on those times? So that's when I started playing around with different things. So I was in the beginning, I was just confused. I didn't know what to do, what to focus on. Even now, I get confused. I think I have it together. And it's like, all right, now what do I do?
Yeah.
um so really confusion, trying different things, but then you start seeing what you enjoy doing, what people enjoy watching, and that's when I was like, all right, I'm gonna stick with this, I'm gonna stick with that, and hopefully eventually it really does make sense one day. I'm still in the
Yes,
confusion
you got
part.
it. Yeah.
But yeah.
And then how would you say your thoughts since then have changed today?
My thoughts. Really, the only thought that I can think of is I love it more today, even
Yeah.
more. I'm noticing I might actually cry actually because I was just talking to my fiance about this, but like it's just like figuring out at what point do you like how do you balance a full-time career and content creation. So it's kind of like some days I feel very overwhelmed balancing the both. I love them both in different ways, but one is way more like doing content to me, like there's more flexibility in your schedule. You kind of can pick when you want to do things. You can pick what your work hours are. So I'm just loving that so much more, and that aligns more with me becoming a mother,
Hmm.
me, like I want to have more free time. So
Yeah.
it's like, but dental hygiene is consistent, great income,
Hmm.
benefits, 401k. So but I'm like in this point of trying to figure out how to transition. And that's where I'm at right now. So that's what's changed, actually making this a lucrative career
Yes. Yeah.
consistently.
Yeah, I can imagine. And I mean, I just give you so many props for having, your full-time dental hygienist job and still committing to creating. It's a lot of work, it's a lot of discipline and commitment. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of why I've struggled because I was like teaching and then I come home and I was just like done for the day and I would
Yeah.
not get on my Zoom. Like I would
Yeah.
not, it's
You just
tough.
want to get on
So,
the couch and get ready for bed, watch a movie,
right,
or just
yeah.
scroll. You just feel like scrolling. You don't feel like actually editing.
Yeah, yep. And
Mhm.
that's the thing I would always be like, well, watching other people's YouTube when I should be,
Yeah.
editing mine. But I'm at like, a better spot now, much more disciplined.
Mhm.
Like I said, new me in the
Good.
2025. But
Yeah.
yeah, I just want to acknowledge all of the work you put in and I can, imagine, yeah, it's like you kind of have to weigh your options,
Yeah.
it's like, but everything will work out in the end, Everything happens for a
Thanks.
reason and I'm rooting for you no matter which path.
Thank you so
Of
much.
course. Now being in the industry for a few years now, like almost two, yeah, because you said
Yeah.
2023. What are some things you may advise newer creators not to do? So maybe when this comes to pitching or talking with brands and businesses, what are some things you maybe done that you were like, "Ugh, I shouldn't have done that? Or maybe you didn't have anything like that. But what's something maybe?
Advice, like outside of pitching, any advice to new creators, which is something I did struggle with, is really not caring what others think.
True.
Especially, if anyone watching this can relate to having a career or even just any job. Outside of this, you're like, oh, I don't want my coworkers to find this,
Mm.
or what is my family gonna think of this,
Hmm.
or like this is cringy, like, or even like people from high school, what are they gonna think? Like, just don't care what anyone thinks. Just do
Hmm.
you. Um, do what feels organic. People are going to have things to say. Some of it you can take as constructive criticism, but the others, if it doesn't make any sense to you, just it's just noise. Like,
Yes. Yep.
just stay true to yourself. Another advice, something I wouldn't do again, I feel like in the beginning I wasn't as organized as I am now, like when it comes to like scheduling, like in between life and this, you know what I mean? So I wasn't as organized. So I would recommend, figuring out a posting schedule, figuring out what days you're gonna edit your content, um, and things like that, what days you're gonna be going through emails, because it's not just the editing, recording, all that stuff. There's like emails, researching, like,
Yeah.
so just staying organized so you don't get as overwhelmed with it.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's great
Mhm.
advice. Honestly, that's like what I wish I would have heard in the beginning. Because that is something I struggled with. I would just kind of like either go down rabbit holes or I would stress myself out because I didn't know when I was going to, instead of just
Mhm.
like taking a moment to look at my schedule and plan it and implement it into there. Yeah, I definitely
Mhm.
think that's a turning point because that's something I did start doing recently and it's helped out so much. So I'm glad you mentioned
Mhm.
that because that's great, great advice for some new creators to hear.
Yay.
Yeah. So what is something I know we kind of talked about before I ask this question. I know were mentioning like in the beginning you were kind of like, what is my niche? Like, what am I doing? What is something you had done that was a turning point in your creator career thus far? So I know you said you've noticed like when you go on trips and you're posting a lot, that's when you're like slowly finding your niche, which also for the record, I think niches are slowly dying out and people are wanting
Yeah.
to see just full around all around creators.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah. But yes, what is like a turning point in your career this far? Was it maybe your first yes? Was it a viral video?
I feel like a turning point in my career is when I really started engaging with people more. I used to do just post and goes, and
Mm-hmm.
wow, like once I actually started like responding to comments, actually speaking to people, that's when that was a turning point. And I really enjoy socializing with people, and that's what social media is for. So
Yes.
once I actually started building connections like with you,
Yeah.
um getting to know people, that to me was a game changer. And that's when connections continue to build. You never know. Like, I started connecting with the girl on Instagram, and she does like NJ coffee shops, and she was connecting me with other coffee content creators, or even like restaurant owners, like things like just socializing, networking,
Mhm.
engaging, and in person too, like speaking more about your craft. I think that's when that was a game changer for me, because the social aspect, it became just much more funner, and it makes you want to do it more, and meeting new people. So
Yeah, I love that. When I like write these questions, I never know what the answers are going to be, but you are like hitting the nail with all of these. I'm obsessed with your answers. Um, But yeah, no, that's huge because I also used to post and ghost. And then
mhm.
like the time that we followed each other and your friend Natalie, right?
Yes.
Yes, her as well. Like I remember I noticed I forget who I followed first, but I was like, wait, I saw them in the other video. I was like, oh my God, they're friends. I'm obsessed. They're Jersey girls. I'm obsessed. But anyways, but yeah, that's like that when I was doing all of that, that's when I really like started to stop ghosting and posting and really find
Mhm.
others, like you mentioned earlier,
Yeah.
like-minded, things like
Yes.
that. And it's grown into this huge thing. I literally went on a creators retreat because I
Yeah.
put myself out there again and
Wow.
did all of that. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, I definitely think that's worth it. And yeah, it's stumbling over my words. Like you said too, social media is to still be social, just
Yeah.
through a
That's what.
different way. So I'm so glad you
Mhm.
mentioned that because so many people just look at it as like posting things. And it's like, no,
Yeah.
I'm trying to build a community here. Like I'm trying to reach a broader audience.
Right.
I
Make
love that.
friends.
Yeah.
Hmm.
For sure. Okay, so my next question. As a Black woman in this industry, how do you feel that your community is represented in this industry? And sorry, one second. When I keep saying industry, I keep thinking travel industry because that's where I
Okay.
know you from. But
Mhm.
I
Social
keep failing to
media.
forget that you are much more than just your travel vlogs. So in the content creating industry.
Okay. So I feel like as Black women in this industry, we have to be more mindful of what we say and how we present ourselves, versus a white person or a white woman. I do feel like we may not get away with certain things. Um, So that's how I feel like, for example, I just feel like I do have to be mindful of what I am posting on social media, especially since I do have a career, another career outside
Mhm.
of this, especially as a Black woman. But besides that, um, this kind of goes back to my childhood. Growing up, my mom put me, I was the only Black girl in many rooms.
Mhm.
I used to take dance classes and be the only Black girl. Do gym, like go to the gym, be the only Black girl. In programs, the only Black girl. When I was in my dental assisting program back in high school, it was only two Black people, I think. So I kind of always been used to that. And but with that being said, that has also never stopped me from going after certain opportunities or wanting to be in certain rooms or feeling uncomfortable being in certain rooms. Like even now, I've been doing, I don't know if you saw, but I've been doing ClassPass. And I don't even know if this answers your question, but whatever. I've been doing ClassPass, and a lot of these classes I've been going to, I've been the only Black girl. And obviously I'm mindful of it, but it doesn't make me feel any differently. And I do thank my mom for that.
Yeah.
Even in when I went to Guatemala with Natalie
Hmm.
and we went to a bar crawl, whole bar, I was the only Black girl. And she's asked me, like, mind you, we're like drunk at this point. Like, and she's like, Williana, like, you don't feel any way about being the only Black girl here? And I'm like, no, like, I
Yeah.
don't even care. Like, as long as no one's saying anything to me, like, I don't even care. Like, I'm just so used to it. So yeah, that's why the only downside that personally to me is I do feel like I have to be more mindful of saying certain things. I don't think I could get away with certain things versus maybe a white woman, but at the same time, I don't really let it affect me so
Yeah.
much. And I do feel like that also comes from traveling. Like there's so many different types of people. Like, yeah, maybe the only Black girl in this room, but then I'll go to another country. It could be a room full of Black girls, and you just adapt to that. And I could go to Mexico and still be the only Black girl, but I'm still gonna dance with
Right, right. Yeah.
you know. So that's really the only thing.
Yeah. And I love
Mhm.
that all the spaces that you have been in, you have felt comfortable. And
Mhm.
I think it also comes with confidence as well, like you're showing up 100% as you and people are gonna like it or not. And I'm so grateful or I'm so glad that all the spaces you have been in, you've been welcomed and you've never,
Thanks.
experienced anything that would push you aside
Not
differently.
extremely. Obviously, I've been in situations where the color of my skin, I have been judged, or this is so besides the point, but like off topic. But really, the only time that I'm aware of that really stuck with me was when I went to a liquor store and literally, I'm not even lying, I had the tightest jeans and shirt on.
Uh-huh.
And then I don't know what you call the little bottles of liquor, but I call it nips. And
Yes.
we're okay.
Uh-huh.
And um, so this guy, I was just looking around. I don't even think I bought anything, bought anything. And the owner was like, "Oh, you stole a nip." And he thought I stole a little time ago. He thought I stole a $2 nip. Like, first of all, like not to be like uppity, but I don't need to steal that.
Right,
Like
right.
the police were called and everything. Even the police were like, you don't look like you stole anything. I'm like, yeah, I did it. And if I stole something, it wouldn't
Mhm.
be this
A $2 nip. Yeah,
before
please.
inflation. It literally was cheap as
Right.
hell. Like, so that's really the only thing. But that liquor store closed down, so that's why.
Yep. Karma will always get them. And I know that's right. Um,
Exactly. So
but
not to say
yeah,
I've never experienced anything, but nothing really like changes how I move, feel about myself. Like I'm still enter any room that I want to.
yeah, I love that for you. And I wanted to ask this too because I follow or I like just from following and watching different things, I see a lot of Black women representation in the travel community, in the
Mhm.
travel content creation world and I'm like these women are killing it. Like I follow some of them. the one girl, she has, I haven't seen her stuff in like so long. I just saw it pop up again. I think her name's like Alana or Alina something.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, girl, I should know your name. But and there's a family that I follow as well, and I can't remember their name either. But it's like they got like 7 kids. But yeah, so I see that representation. So I just wanted to, check in and see if you've seen it as well.
Yes, I have. And I feel like actually Black people are thriving in this industry, in the
I do
creator
too.
industry, and content creation and traveling. Like truly, I feel like women are thriving in this industry. I do feel like this is just a space for everyone. And I feel like, there's discrimination in many, like in the workplace, for example, but there's really not in content creation. Like you go after what you want. You
That
work
is
with
so
who
true.
you want. You go where you want to go. Like you just do what makes you feel comfortable. So I feel like there's really no like roadblock. Like there are gonna be roadblocks, but you're just you just go where you want, where you feel comfortable, where you feel safe. So I do feel like Black people are thriving
Hmm.
in this for that very reason.
Yeah. And I'm really glad you mentioned that because that's like I said, you were just really answering things so like really making my mind, like, oh, that's so true. Yeah, but also too with like everything you were saying is that's like content creation also pulls you to these things to go to. So like you're
Yes.
gonna find your people, you're gonna find your like-minded people, and it's gonna pull you to these different things, whereas maybe, other corporate things would make you go one way
Yeah,
and maybe
it's
it's not.
true.
But yeah, so
It's
I
true.
love that you point that out.
Yeah, I was even thinking about that because there's this creator that I watch because as you're in this space, you kind of think of other avenues you can go.
For
And there's
sure.
this creator, she just does home content. Like she just shows her at her house with her dogs. If she went to like buy little stuff, like little trips, like Target, things like that, just home stuff. Majority, she doesn't really travel much, or at least show that. She doesn't party. She doesn't show. I'm not gonna say she doesn't do it, but she doesn't show us that. And
Yeah.
she's built this community based on people who just enjoy watching her at home.
Yeah.
So I just feel like anything is possible. Anything. I love it.
So true, yeah. And with that too, it's like people, some people are nervous. Like I know you said changing your profile from private to public.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you can, choose one thing and stick with that. Like if I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to, I could just come on here and talk about travel. I don't have to take everyone.
Yeah.
It's totally up to you. And like we said, you'll find your people that want to follow it and everything. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's a
I
really
love
good point as well.
it.
Now, okay, when it comes to working with brands and businesses, are there any specific things you look for? So like mine, I put like for example, like kind of a niche, but like I tend to go towards like eco-conscious, sustainability,
I love
locally
that.
and things. Yeah. So I was wondering if you had anything like that that you look for when it comes to working with brands and businesses.
The only thing I know I can think that I consistently do is if I want to work with a brand or business or they want to work with me, I just always find myself going through their Instagram feed and making sure that there's diversity. That's
Hmm.
really my number one thing. I want to see like especially like a skincare. I want to see my skin complexion on your Instagram
For
feed.
sure.
So that's my main thing. So not to say I can't be the first person, but I just feel more comfortable, especially an established brand. It's 2025, like
Right.
show us diversity. So
Right.
that's my main thing.
Yeah, I definitely get that. And I as well, I want to be in a room with I forget what interview it was. But there was a woman who was like, I want to when I look around, I want to see the America that I'm in, not this like
Mhm,
whitewash thing. And that's how I
mhm.
feel as well, like with the diversity. It's got to be
Yeah,
there. This is the
it's
world we live
important.
in, It's very
Mhm.
important. Yeah.
People, we're people.
Exactly. Yes. When pitching to brands, hotels, businesses, what have you noticed has made you most successful? I think you
Uh,
did just post a TikTok about this too, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so okay. So I can make this a really long answer or a really short answer. What do you want?
Go ahead and talk
Okay.
to us.
So, okay, when I first got into this content creation space, I really didn't care about having thousands of followers. I didn't care about a lot of things. My main thing was I just want to work with people. I want to
Mhm.
work with brands. I want to work with travel, like what do you call it? like hotel brands.
Hmm.
I want to work with resorts. I want to work with airlines. So right away, I just started pitching those, like, and I wasn't finding success with that. I really didn't have like a portfolio that really that they were looking for.
Hmm.
So once I actually started like toning it down and really reaching out to local businesses, local restaurants, or even travel industries that need creators for that are struggling themselves versus like Emirates is fine. Like they
Right.
don't really like need me to promote them.
Right.
But
Yeah.
like someone who is like up and coming, starting up, they need those creators. So kind of
Yeah.
toning it down a little bit has helped me. Um, Another thing has helped me. I did talk about that in the TikTok is being my authentic self and
Hmm.
really making sure I even number one align with it. Um, if it has if it's something that has nothing to do with me or that I don't really care for, it's hard to authentically pitch to someone.
Yeah, for sure.
So really that has helped with success.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing. And people can see right through the bullshit, when
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
inauthentic. And like if I
It's
were to
true.
ever go on and promote something that's not sustainable, people would be like,
Right.
what are you doing? Like even
Right.
now sometimes like my whole thing, like my views are always changing in the travel industry, especially because I studied sustainable tourism, so like I got a lot of knowledge about different things. And I'm like very anti all inclusive, but it's like
Okay.
I've been looking into it more. And like I'm
Mhm.
staying in one this summer in Jamaica because we have a wedding there. So it's
Okay.
like a part of me, my heart is like, I'm going against my brand. Like this is so
I
stressful.
know.
But then also like, I'm going in open-minded. I'm gonna see kind of like the truth because I can sit here and learn and talk about things, but I also want to see it for myself.
Right.
But yeah, just staying authentic, and I gotta tell the people, yes, I'm doing this, but
And
let me talk to
honestly,
you. Let
like
me
you could
talk you
go
through
about
it.
that so many ways. You can go there and like you can end up, giving a resort tips on how they can be more sustainable. Because people
Yes.
don't know about that. And to be honest, I don't really know much about that either. I do know that the Starbucks drink has its eco.
They're
But it's
trying,
like
right?
people, yeah, people don't really know. So that's cool. Like you can also talk about, okay, like wherever you're staying, like Ryu, for example, like instead of this, you could have done this or things that I noticed. So it also like even though you're going there, you're not going there just like F it, you're going there for a wedding.
Right.
So it kind of gives you another perspective too.
Yeah. And that's what
Mhm.
I've also thought about doing too, is like traveling to these places and also, yeah, like reviewing it. And because
Yeah.
people kind of like, I don't want to say people love a little drama, but if I start going to these places and I'm like, you're never gonna guess what they're not doing,
Yeah,
like,
sure.
yeah, and people are gonna be like, eat that up, kind of, So,
Yeah, it's entertaining and educational too.
yes,
I would watch
exactly.
it.
Love that. Well, yeah, I gotta start doing more of that.
Yeah.
But yeah. Um, okay. Okay, so
That's another thing about this creator space. Like the opportunities are endless.
they really are.
Like there's so many things.
That's so true. And
Mhm.
like I have pretty niche, myself down to like sustainability and travel.
Mhm.
But I've always kind of wanted to, when I was teaching, I was in middle schoolers and they were always talking about like Roblox and Dress to Impress. And I'm like, hold up, I'm about to be a gamer girl for a second. I think it could be so fun. Like I low-key love
Same.
watching people play Dress to Impress.
Same. I'm
I'm
like,
about
I'm about to just stream me playing Sims because I can play Sims for 8 hours.
literally. But that is the beauty of it, is like you can try
Yeah.
everything, and if people are gonna stay, they're gonna stay. If not, then they're gonna go and you'll find new people, so yeah,
As long as
yes.
you enjoy it, that's what matters.
Exactly. Back to that authenticity for sure.
Mhm. Mhm.
Okay. And now before I have like two last ending questions, but before we get into that, we got to talk about Eat with a Jersey Girl. Eat with a Jersey Girl. I absolutely love that so much. Obviously, a Jersey girl myself, I'm obsessed and I love it. What like inspired that? Did you get inspiration from Bretman Rock?
I mean, I'm sure Bretman has carved my life in many ways, but I don't know where that came from. I just started saying like, okay, eat with it. I knew I wanted to come up with something that was unique. And I don't know, I just started saying like eat with a Jersey girl. And I was like, wait, like I turned a lot of things
It
into
is
a
a
song. I'm
bop,
eat with a
yes.
Jersey girl, eat with a
No,
Jersey girl.
I love it. I love it so much. And something I was thinking
Oh,
too, and I don't want to put anything out there that maybe you're already thinking, but did you ever watch Hot Ones?
yes, yes.
I totally can see you turning Eat with a Jersey Girl into something just like that. Like
Ah, that'd
bringing
be
people on.
cool.
Yes, I think that has so much potential. I was like, oh my God, she should do this because
All
I
right.
love it. I think I just love it so much. It's your own thing. You got a
Yeah.
little jingle to it. It's easy to
Hmm.
remember. It's been stuck
Hmm.
in my head all morning, like I love it. So
Oh,
yeah.
thank you. I need to do it more. It's like hard too because I'm also on a weight loss journey for the wedding. So it's like that's another thing, like finding that balance of like, all right, eating with a Jersey girl, but like I need to lose 10 pounds.
Yeah, but like you were saying too, you can tie everything in, like
Yeah.
I did kind of like my first foodie review-ish the other
Oh,
day when I tried a plant-based protein from Tropical Smoothie.
that's nice.
Um so yeah, just like different things like that, like I don't eat meat, but if I want to be a foodie, then I'm just gonna start getting it's like taste testing plant-based
Yes.
things, like let's go to vegan places, things like that. So
That's true.
you can always tie that in.
That's true. So many
There
things.
is. Like you said, it's literally endless. I think that's the fun about it too. It's
Yeah.
amazing. And when you are a creator and just a creative mind outside of content creation, specifically artists, singers, writers, like
Uh,
you just think so broad and it's
yes.
it's it's really unstoppable and you can't stop yourself. Moving on, kind of speaking of part two, looking into the future. Well, before we get there, we did mention it a little bit earlier, but what is some just broad other advice you would have for others trying to get into this field? I know we mentioned being yourself, not giving a damn what people think. I think that's huge.
Mhm.
And just going for it as your authentic self. Is there anything else?
Something people may not tell you, you're going to invest a lot of
Ooh,
money. Like
yes, that is a good one, and that's so true. That's so real for you to do that. 'Cause people
you're
leave
going
that
to
out.
invest. Yeah, like to make money, you have to spend money.
Hmm.
And so maybe you can't buy this, that, and a third because now you need to buy a new vlogging camera.
Hmm.
Maybe you can't buy this, that, and a third because you need lighting. Like you're going to invest. And obviously, like we talk about trying different foods, you're going to be paying for that food. So
Hmm.
you're going to spend money
You are.
and really just kind of think about how much you can spend, how much you want to spend, budgeting a little bit better, things like that. I mean, honestly, like even people with like huge businesses, like they're in debt.
Right.
So, I mean, we're all in debt to be honest in this country, but um so that's just the main thing. Just be prepared to be spending some money and but know like if you're in it for the long run and you do in turn, you're gonna be working with these people you're gonna be making that back. So everything will be okay.
Yes. Again, you are the creator I needed to meet when I first started. I swear, if I would have heard these things, because I struggled with that so much. Like when I first started, I did have a camera.
Mhm.
I was fortunate enough, like Adam let me use his MacBook to edit and things, but the camera like broke and then his laptop was super old, so everything was just like lagging and I was so hesitant to like spend money or I was also in college, so I was like, I don't really have it. Like, what do I do? But it's true, like if you the when you learn about just what it truly means to invest in something and invest in yourself, like it all makes so much sense. And yeah, it's something to prepare for because when you start creating, you think like, oh, I'm gonna get all this free stuff, but like it does not work like that, like
Mhm.
if you just slap creator onto your name and you don't have like a portfolio or something to back you up with it, brands aren't going to work for you. Then like respectfully, they shouldn't, like you need
Right.
a credibility, you need a building.
Right.
And yeah, I was so hesitant with all of that, like so nervous. And I with travel especially too, it's like, well, to be a travel creator, I have to travel. And I would see so many travel creators being like, just become a travel creator. I'm like, well, in order to do that, you have to travel. And I don't have money to travel right now, like
Hello.
a
Like
few years ago. So
you're gonna be spending.
yeah, no, that is great advice because I'm just even like looking around now to like all of I mean, even just from like this little adapter thing, like all the little gadgets and gizmos finally came about to get to
Mhm.
benefit my editing, and it's been so worth it. So I think
It
that's
is
great
worth it.
advice. It
Think
is.
about so many people, they invested their last and then they end up making so much more.
Exactly.
And another piece of advice is patience. Like you're going to
Yes.
need patience. Like it's not going to happen quickly. You're not like it's not. I feel like especially TikTok. Like TikTok has put in our minds that we can just blow up off of one viral video
Yeah.
that's not realistic for everyone. And number one, number two, are you even prepared to blow up? Like, are you prepared for
True.
a bunch of emails to be coming up to you and you have to respond to them and now they need a bunch of content? Are you truly prepared for that? So just, be patient. I was gonna say something else too. Oh, I feel like your support system, when you mentioned Adam is your fiance, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay. I feel like your support, I mean, I don't want to deter people who may not have a support system, but even just a friend, I feel like your support system is really important, especially as you're transitioning into this space. Like, even the little things, like, I would have been like, please watch this YouTube video before I post it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
help me, like, give me advice before I put this out there. Like, little things like that, or like, help me set up this camera real quick, or can you feed the dog because now I need to do this. Like,
Right. Yeah.
support system is important. So hopefully everyone does have that in some sort of way.
Yeah, for sure. I know, and that's takes me back to when I like started YouTube and everything. I started really when I was well, me and Adams, we have a YouTube channel. It's like old now. We don't post on it no more. I
Um,
would love to bring it back, but I think eventually we will.
mhm.
But I, was like vlogging, kind of doing my own things. And then I met one of my friends at college who she was already like a pretty bit established of a like creator YouTuber, and just like getting in touch with like-minded people, like I saw her bring out her camera and then it inspired me to bring out my camera. Shout out to Camille. Um,
Yeah.
like inspired me to bring out my camera as well. And just yeah, just like that support, like you said. My best friend Veronica is not a creator, but she sometimes I'll like send her my episodes before because I got some episodes that I recorded myself that never made out the vault because respectfully they needed to stay away. And she'd be like,
That's
and she would tell me straight up how it is, but it's like, yeah, that support is everything. And like you were saying too, I hope everyone can find that, and if not, we're here for you. Me
exactly.
and Williana got you. Okay, so now our final last question. Where do you see yourself in 10 years with this path? Or where would
Okay.
you like to?
Okay, I'm gonna say where do I see myself so it can happen. So
Yes,
10 years
come
from
on.
now.
Manifesting queen.
Yeah. So my dream is to work with a consistent, I don't want to say the name. It's funny because I'm actually at one of their hotels right now.
Oh, wow.
But my dream is so this hotel that I'm staying at, my dream is to consistently do content for them. So I would love for them to like fly me out to different hotels.
Hmm.
I just like, do room tours, give advice as a client, right? Is that
Hmm.
what do you call when you're staying in a hotel? What do they call you?
Yeah, customer, client. I mean, oh, a
Yeah,
guest, a guest.
I guess. Like the guest
Oh,
experience.
yeah.
I would love like even if it's a hotel in Jersey or a resort in Maui, for example,
Right.
like just all over the place. I just want to be traveling consistently, getting content, giving my advice, rating the hotels, just things like that. But I always want to remain genuine. I don't want to be on the hotel side of things and just like faking it like it's this glamorous thing. Like I'm staying at this hotel and I actually did get some content here and I'm being real. Like there's scratches. This hotel is new and there's scratches all over the furniture. And I'm showing you guys that
Yeah.
like, oh, like let's get this together a little bit, especially when these hotels are charging so much money for just one night.
Right.
So that's my goal. And I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be with this company, but just I want to be with a just partnered with the line consistently, like kind of as an employee, but I'm a content creator.
Yeah, no, long-term contracts. That's something I'm really trying to work on now is because that's how you do get consistent, right? Like you
Mhm.
could pitch and do things monthly, but those long-term contracts are what will set you up for success, set you up
Exactly.
for stability and all of that. So
And that income will be consistent as well too.
exactly. Yeah,
Mhm.
I also think we're going to see a shift with more brands hiring on like contracted creators.
Mhm.
I see a few doing it already, and I'm really
Mhm.
excited for that because that's what I kind of been looking for agencies to connect me with brands as well and
Mhm.
different things like that. But it's very much still when you're in it, you feel like it's so saturated and like all this, but it's still a very new
It's
thing.
very
It's very growing, especially in the travel industry. Like
Mhm.
with people partnering with Airbnbs and all of that. Like some of them, they don't really get it yet. They're like, well, I don't know. Like, what do you
Mhm.
mean I need a creator? And when, like you were
Right.
saying earlier, you see these like smaller businesses who truly need and could use creators like us, but they maybe just don't get it yet. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think we're gonna see a big shift within the
Yeah,
next 10 years.
I
I'm excited to
agree.
see where this whole industry is, you
Yeah.
know.
Because I feel like people are so used to, things being out in the newspaper or billboards. Like, no, people are scrolling on
Yep.
social media, like TikTok. And that's why, like, the TikTok ban is very hard for me as well, because so many small businesses have benefited from videos being posted.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So many people have seen so much profit, so many new customers and things like that from social media. I feel like so many people don't realize how powerful social media is. Like,
Yeah.
even if one person had a bad experience at your establishment and made a video about it, so many
Yeah.
people are not going to want to go
Yep.
there.
Yeah.
So it's powerful,
It is for sure. And it's yeah.
especially when I can edit it and find, like, it can be the worst store, but then I can find like the most beautiful corner you have and glamorize.
Right. Yeah, that too. And that's the thing is like sometimes I've found people posted things and then I go and I'm like, man, why did they do this to me? You know, come
Like, what is this?
on. Yeah, yeah. Like some bar I went to in Spain one time, I was like, first of all, that's my fault for not going over to a local and asking to go. That's what I get. But dang.
Right. It's
Um,
so true.
but yeah, 10 years from now,
Mm-hmm.
I wonder what, you know, what is my studio gonna look like, you know? Like what's your background gonna be? All that.
I can't wait.
Obsessed. I know. But yeah, thank you, Williana, so much for coming onto my show and
Oh, thank you for
for yeah,
having
it was
me.
amazing having you hearing, you know, your story and answering all the questions. Like I said, I'm obsessed with your answers. I'm excited to edit this
Ah,
back and listen to them again.
yay.
Um, but yeah, just know that your work is appreciated. Everything you do is not unseen. I see it. You know, you're getting a
Aw,
good following for yourself and amazing deals for yourself. So
thank
I'm proud
you.
of you watching from over here. And one day when I'm in New Jersey, we
Yes.
have to link up and
Yes.
do. I want to be on a Eat with a Jersey Girl. I want to be on this so bad. I want to sing it. Um, but yes, thank you so much again, and thank you everyone who is listening and tuning in, or if you watch the video on YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe. Again, if you're here from YouTube, follow at Don't Wait Till Monday podcast on Instagram. My other Instagrams are at Kirsten Quigley and also at Travel with Kirsten. And Williana, I will let you plug in your social media
So
platforms as well.
everything is Williana Ashley. Everything. Except I think my lemonade is Black Love Travel because I wanted it to be a couples page, but forget that, man. It's only about me.
Right.
So Williana Ashley on most platforms, YouTube, Snapchat, even, um, TikTok. Hopefully, it's still on by the time this is
Right.
posted. But yeah.
Yes. All right. Well, again, thank you everyone for listening. Thank you, Juliana, for being here, and I will catch you in the next episode.